Welcome to the Explainer. Sometimes the most brilliant designs are hidden in plain sight. Today, we're looking at something you might just scroll past, a simple online discussion prompt for a college course. But what we're about to unpack is how this isn't just some homework assignment, it's actually a super sophisticated blueprint for critical thinking and learning together. Okay, let's dive into this.
So here it is. This is the central challenge thrown at the student. Now, at first glance, it seems pretty straightforward, right? But look a little closer. It's not asking, what are the E's? It asks which one is most important and why. And then, and this is the real kicker, how would you rank them? See, this isn't a memory test. It's a puzzle that forces you to make a judgment call and justify it right from the get-go.
The real power of this prompt is that it forces you to take a stand. You can't just hang back and be a passive observer. Nope. You have to make a choice. You have to plant your flag and, this is the big one, you have to be ready to defend it. That immediately kicks your brain into a higher gear.
And that gets to the core idea here. In complicated fields like public administration, there's rarely one single correct answer. The really crucial skill isn't just knowing a fact, it's being able to weigh these competing ideas, figure out your priorities, and then build a logical, convincing case for your decision. This prompt is basically a direct simulation of that exact real-world challenge.
Okay, so the question itself is smart, but the real genius, I think, is in the structure, the rules of engagement. This whole assignment is carefully engineered to create a conversation that lasts, one that's interactive and unfolds over time, not just all at once. Let's take a look at how it works.
And this is just a brilliant illustration of the conversation's rhythm. These staggered deadlines, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, they are absolutely critical. This design stops what a lot of teachers call the post and ghost, where students just drop their answer and then vanish. This way, they have to come back. They have to read what other people wrote, and they have to let the conversation build and change over the entire week.
The number 3 is also totally deliberate. Think about it. One post is just you talking. A post and one reply, that's just a quick back and forth. But making you do 3 interactions, your own original thought and then 2 separate responses, that guarantees a much deeper level of engagement. It pushes students to weave this web of dialogue instead of just having a bunch of disconnected pairs. This also means students have to play 2 totally different roles. In that first post, you're like a broadcaster. You're stating your case and defending it. But in the response posts, you have to be a collaborator. You've got to listen, ask questions, and build on what someone else has already put out there. It's like a workout for 2 different but equally important communication muscles.
Now, this little phrase, it's just tucked into the instructions, but it is such a powerful piece of social engineering. By asking students to diversify their responses, the instructor makes sure that ideas get spread around the entire class. It stops little conversational cliques from forming, and instead weaves everyone's ideas into one big, interconnected tapestry. It's pretty cool.
So, we've got a great structure for a debate. But what takes this from being just a simple opinion poll to a real academic exercise? Well, that brings us to the last and maybe the most important piece of the puzzle, the scholarly foundation.
And there it is. This is the bedrock of the entire assignment. This one little requirement changes everything. It's like a grounding wire, connecting every personal opinion back to the stuff the class is actually studying together. It makes sure the whole debate is fueled by evidence, not just feelings.
And that is what transforms the conversation. You can't just say, well, I think efficiency is the most important. Now you have to say something like, I believe efficiency is the most important. And, like author X argued on page 42 of this week's reading, a lack of efficiency can lead to, see? It forces students to build a bridge between their own thoughts and the established ideas in their field. All right, let's pull all these different threads together. We've looked at the challenging question, the engineered timeline, and the scholarly requirement. So what's the end game here? What is the ultimate goal of this carefully designed learning machine? Well, it all comes together in this 4-step blueprint for some seriously deep learning. First, you force a choice to get the mental gears spinning. Second, you use a timeline to create a real, evolving conversation. Third, you require different kinds of interaction to actually build a learning community. And finally, you demand evidence to give the whole thing academic weight. Each step just builds perfectly on the last one.
So, here's the key takeaway. The whole design is meant to move the learning process away from being a simple Q&A session with the teacher. It's not about students trying to guess the right answer that's in the professor's head. It's about creating a space where students build knowledge together, where they discover new insights by challenging and supporting each other.
And that leaves us with a final thought, a bigger idea to chew on. This whole breakdown isn't really just about a classroom assignment. It's a powerful reminder that the structure of any discussion, whether it's a team meeting at work or a debate with your friends, profoundly shapes its outcome. The rules of the game don't just determine who wins, they determine what everyone learns along the way.